Hopefully no one likes Spooge. It's ugly, it's messy, it's yucky, and it's very simple. It's not as complex as people try to make it out to be. You're just adding too much oil. It's just that simple. From my recent test with my engine that uses an NGK number 8, which gives you an idea of how hot the engine gets. It's about as hot as a 250 motocrosser that's water-cooled. These are the ratios. Below this ratio, too much Spooge. Mineral oil, 27 to 1. Semi-synthetic, 38 to 1. Fully synthetic, 45 to 1. Fully castor, 50 to 1. There is no such thing. Just forget it. Get it out of your head. There is no such thing as one magic ratio. If you think there is, I've got a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you. It's just that foolish. The oil ratio depends upon the type of oil you're using. Synthetic oil and castor oil is very high viscosity, which means you can add a little bit of it. Mineral oil is low viscosity, so you have to add a lot of it. Okay? But look at these ratios. This is almost a 2 to 1 ratio from here to here. Okay? Which should blow the idea right out of the water that there's one ratio. There isn't. It depends upon your engine heat, and it depends upon the type of oil you're using. And it's going to vary from oil to oil. I just tested these 4 oils because each one is a good representative of its class. So this is point number 1. Point number 2 is it also depends on jetting. Most people don't even know how to jet. Most people don't even own a little $15 squish velocity volume calculator, which they can get from me. I sell the best one on the market. No one else gives you any guidance at all about volume. Those two in combination, pure gold. While we're at it, I might as well go over every one of the calculators I sell. Expansion chamber calculator. All these programs are medium intensive. They're not super simple, and they're not very complex, asking for every single little microscopic detail. They're middle of the road, and the price is very low and very easy. If you don't have Excel, it's not important. You can get a free download of LibreOffice. LibreOffice. Libre in Spanish for free. Crank balance calculator, jetting calculator, porting calculator. Most people just guess at the exhaust port size and the amount of blow down time between exhaust port opening and transfer opening. Squish volume velocity calculator, boost bottle calculator, fuel oil ratio calculator, carburetor calculator, and all of them only for $70. Okay, now that our sponsor is taken care of. So, yeah, well, I've got a video about jetting and how to do it in combination with the timing. And then we've got this relationship between jetting and the amount of oil being added to the gasoline. The leaner the jetting, the more oil you can add without having spooge. The richer jetting, the less oil you can add. Okay, but what happens when you go leaner? You're risking seizure because you're making the engine hotter. And what happens when you go richer? You risk fouling plugs. So it's best to get the jetting just right to begin with. And you do that by jetting for the best power which you can gauge by the best top speed or the best acceleration time, which would be the least amount of time to go from point A to point B. And then once you get the jetting right, then you can start looking at how much spooge is coming out and judge your fuel oil ratio according to the spooge. I make a fuel oil ratio calculator, but you don't even need that. You can go by the spooge. The spooge is telling you you've got too much oil. And the only time too much oil is a good thing is with castor oil, because castor is like a fuel in itself and it has its own oxygen molecules. The more castor you add, the more you can increase the main jet size, and you also need to retard the ignition, but you get more power. But even the best of the castor oils are not as good as synthetic as far as deposits on the piston and the exhaust. But if I was in some type of racing that every single little amount of power was important, I would use castor oil and just take the engine apart and clean it occasionally. Down here at the bottom you see the listing of my website for my engine oils. I completely break down each engine oil, telling you what percentage of what different types of oil are in it. But this is a general grouping of the oils from Group 2 mineral oil, semi-synthetic, fully synthetic, synthetic and castor blend, and fully castor. So the lower on this scale you go, the less oil you need to add to it to protect the engine. And that, my friends, is all there is to it. Spooge is telling you about the amount of oil you're adding to the gas. It's yelling at you. It's just like it's in your face. So pay attention to the signs that talk to you. Thanks for watching. Ride and have fun. Take care.